Okay, good morning, friends. So, I can see some new faces. कल की क्लास देखी थी तुम लोगों ने यूट्यूब पे? नहीं देखा? कल की भी क्लास देखना बिकॉज दिस इज द सेकेंड क्लास ऑफ द प्रिपरेटरी लेक्चर. तो येस्टरडे हमने बात किया था ज्योग्राफी के बारे में एंड वी सॉ कि ज्योग्राफी होता क्या है बेसिकली. एंड हम एक कंक्लूजन पे पहुंचे थे ज्योग्राफी के बारे में. व्हाट वाज दैट कंक्लूजन? ज्योग्राफी एसेंशियली क्या है? इट इज स्टडी ऑफ ह्यूमन एंड एनवायरनमेंट रिलेशनशिप. इस ह्यूमन और एनवायरनमेंट के रिलेशनशिप को हम कई तरह से परसीव करते हैं और वी स्टडी इट इन वेरियस पार्ट्स. सबसे पहला पार्ट है एनवायरनमेंट की स्टडी एंड दिस एनवायरनमेंट स्टडी इज व्हाट वी कॉल इट एज द फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी. देन सेकेंड पार्ट है ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी और ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी के अंदर दो थीम्स हम बेसिकली पढ़ते हैं. वी स्टडी टू थीम्स and these two themes are, one is obviously human and environment relationship and the second one if you talk about is the human and society. Although society has emerged from the environment but society has, you can say in a way, overgrown environment. ठीक है, आज की डेट में सोसाइटी क्या कर रही है? वॉल्यूम कम है. वॉल्यूम थोड़ा तेज करो. अभी ओके. तो तुम यहीं आसपास बैठो, थोड़ा सा कम करो. अभी कैसा है? अभी भी ठीक है? ओके ओके. तो देखा है हमने कि ह्यूमन एंड एनवायरनमेंट रिलेशनशिप वी स्टडी विद इन ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी एंड वी ऑल्सो स्टडी ह्यूमन एंड सोसाइटी का रिलेशनशिप. सोसाइटी एक ऐसा एस्पेक्ट है जो ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी का पार्ट एंड पार्सल बन चुका है बिकॉज सोसाइटी, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि सोसाइटी हैज़ ग्रोन बियॉन्ड एनवायरनमेंट. आज की डेट में सोसाइटी भी एनवायरनमेंट को कंट्रोल करता है इन मेनी वेज, मॉडिफाई कर रहा है बहुत सारे तरीकों से. ठीक है, तो दैट इज व्हाट वी आर स्टडिंग इन ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी. और हमने एक और चीज़ देखी थी, वी सॉ दैट ज्योग्राफी में वी आर स्टडिंग नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स. इट इज़ वेरी मल्टी डिसिप्लिन. So we are studying about the lithosphere, atmosphere, we are studying about biosphere, we are studying about hydrosphere के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं. सोसाइटी के पैरामीटर्स लाइक इकोनॉमिक पैरामीटर, पॉलिटिकल पैरामीटर, कल्चरल पैरामीटर, डेमोग्राफिक पैरामीटर, इतनी सारी चीज़ें पढ़ रहे हैं. तो ये सब चीज़ों के लिए अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट्स दे आर देयर, बट फिर भी हम ज्योग्राफी के अंदर पढ़ रहे हैं. वाई? बिकॉज ज्योग्राफी की दो खासियत हैं तो जिससे वो बाकी सब्जेक्ट से अलग है. वन, हमने बोला कि ज्योग्राफी क्या है? इट इज अ स्पेशल साइंस. एंड सेकेंड, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट ज्योग्राफी ऑल्सो इज एन इंटीग्रेटिव साइंस. सो इट इज अ स्पेशल साइंस, इट इज एन इंटीग्रेटिव साइंस. तो दो चीजें हमें ज्योग्राफी की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स मिलती हैं. तो स्पेशल साइंस, इससे क्या हमें अंदाजा लगता है? जोग्राफर्स जो भी वट एवर दे आर स्टडिंग हाउ द फिनोमेना इज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड ऑन द सर्फेस ऑफ द अर्थ. ठीक है, so that is the main perspective of geography, that is the primary perspective of geography. So it is essentially a spatial science. इससे हमारे लिए क्या important है? What is, why this point is very important for us? Yes, every space is a different, no doubt.
We have to study
For applied part for management, okay, that is fine. What else? What is there for us from spatial science perspective? I will remind you कि कल मैंने क्लास को स्टार्ट किया था. When I started my class yesterday, I asked one question. Why do we study geography? And what was my answer? Why are we studying geography? To clear the examination. That is why we are studying geography. So again, when I'm asking you what is there for us when we are saying geography is a spatial science from the perspective of examination. क्या हो सकता है? Okay, can I say that if geography is a spatial science and I am writing geography answers, can I say that they would be incomplete without maps and diagrams? They won't be geographical answers if I don't include the distribution aspect in the question. Suppose if the question is asking consequences of floods in India, okay, can I say I should make a map and show where the floods are occurring in India? And if I don't include that where part, then it is not geography. We have to be very, very clear about it. Okay. So many times you might be aware that in fact these years what is happening, paper 2 questions. Have you seen previous year questions? If you look into the previous year questions, you will find that the paper 2 is asked in such a manner that even a person who has studied geography for GS would be in a position to answer those questions. And now this is perplexing because then what is the difference when you are writing in optional and what is the difference when you are writing in GS? We have to apply regional approach. A number of things are there, but one thing which makes our answers geographical is using maps and diagrams. Okay, using that aspect of space distribution. Region or the regional approach, we will see it is part and parcel of this aspect of distribution, of this aspect of geography being a spatial science. Okay, so I hope you get my point. So it is very, very important to understand this part. Then if you talk about if geography is essentially a integrative science, then what is there for us with respect to integrative aspect of geography? Definitely we have to connect various parts of geography together. In fact, you can understand there is a debate in geography. In fact, if you look into your syllabus, you will find that there is one topic in the syllabus. Can you see this perspectives in human geography? And here there is one topic by the name of dichotomy and dualism. Can you see that? Dichotomy and dualism. So if you talk about the dichotomy and dualism, we will see it is essentially a controversy. It is a kind of having different opinion on the same subject matter. Okay. So one subject matter is, one question is, what is essentially scope of geography? Some would suggest that geography should concern itself to study of the physical environment. Some have suggested that physical geography should form the core of geography. Others have suggested that human geography should form the core of geography. So there is a debate between physical versus human geography. And geographers, because they know that their subject is essentially study of what? Human and environment relationship. So they essentially want to integrate both these, human and environment. So several attempts have been made in the past to achieve this integration. In geography, this theme of integration has been referred to as synthesis. Okay. So agar syllabus mein dekhen, so we will also find that, can you see this term? regional synthesis. Okay. So geographers, what is the ultimate objective of a geographer? Ultimate objective of a geographer is to achieve that kind of synthesis. And if any geographer can achieve, till now we haven't been able to achieve that synthesis. Several efforts have been made in geography to achieve such synthesis, but they haven't been able to do so. Fundamentally because the human, if you talk about as a subject matter, and physical space or physical world as a subject matter, they are both different in their characteristics. Can we say in physical world, the same phenomena will be repeated again and again? Yes or no? The probability of the same result coming again and again will be high. If I drop this pen, it will go down. No matter how many times I drop it, it will always go down. No matter where I drop it, it will always go down. So the probability of the same result being repeated is very high in the physical world. And can you understand, thus in physical world, can you make more generalizations in physical world? Yes or no? Can we create science in physical world? Normally, how we know the sciences, theories, laws, can be created in the physical world. But can we say that in human world, it is different? Yes or no? It is different. You can understand, suppose you came to the class today. Okay, tomorrow also you will come to class, day after tomorrow you will come to class. But, so can we say it looks like the same phenomenon? But can I say, is it possible that when you came to class today, you basically had a different mood? Maybe tomorrow your mood might be different. Day after tomorrow you might think something else. Okay. So even in human world, even if the phenomena looks similar, then also it may not be similar. Okay. There is so much dynamism involved in the human world. So making laws and theories becomes very, very difficult in the human world. So what I'm just trying to suggest that both these subject matters are very drastically different, and we are dealing with them within geography. And this creates a kind of dichotomy and dualism within geography. But geographers, they know that both of these are very important for completion of the subject of geography. And thus what they want to achieve, they always want to achieve a synthesis. Okay, so yesterday I gave you that example of how this integration part can be useful for us, integrative science. Suppose if a question, I am answering a question of physical geography. Suppose I am answering a question, there is a topic in our syllabus, channel morphology, where we are studying about the river channels. So if I am studying about river channels, tell me, I'll write whatever is written, whatever the question is asked, whether it is about the channel pattern, whether it is about the profile of the channel or the cross profile of the channel, okay, or the bed topography of the channel, whatever I have answered. But when I am writing my conclusion, tell me, in the conclusion, can I essentially write about also the whatever we have written, its relationship with the human beings? Yes or no? When we are talking about channel morphology, essentially we can also write what is the utility of such study. Will such study help us in management of the rivers? Will such study help us in flood management? Okay. Can such study help us in the biodiversity management of the rivers? For example, when you are studying bed topography, we will see on the bed of the river, there are several pools and riffles found. And pools and riffles are high places, or riffles are essentially comparatively higher places. So wherever such higher places would be found, can I say that suppose this is the flow and there is a higher place, can I say behind that higher place, there will be some calmness of water found? Okay. So along that calm water, we will be finding it will be the habitat of various organisms which are living on the bed of the river. Okay. So again, what I am trying to suggest here, we don't have to be very monotonous when we are writing. Wherever we get the opportunity, essentially we have to show this integrative aspect of geography, that synthesis aspect of geography. And believe me, as a geographer, I can tell you, geographers will be thrilled if you can do that, if you can achieve that. They'll be highly thrilled. Okay, because throughout their life, they have been trying to achieve this. They've been trying to achieve this synthesis. They were unable to do so. So wherever possible, we have to show them that the synthesis in geography is essentially possible. In fact, an example of synthesis you can very clearly understand if you look into your physical geography. Can you see that in physical geography also today there is a theme of, like for example in geomorphology, there is applied geomorphology. So since 1970s, there is growth of applied geography. Okay, very clearly it is there in our syllabus. It was actually added in 2008 in our syllabus. Then if I look into climatology, can you see global climate change and role and response of man in climate changes? Similarly, can you see applied climatology and urban climate? And again, if you look into oceanography, so for example, law of sea and marine pollution, you can see biogeography, again problems of deforestation and conservation measures, social forestry, agroforestry, major gene pool centers. All of these, if you talk about, are the applied themes which are mentioned in the syllabus. And much of environmental geography, if you look into, it is essentially what? It is applied in nature. Okay, like for example, here you see human ecological adaptations, how human beings have adapted to the environment. Similarly, if you talk about influence of man on ecology and environment, then other phenomena like environmental degradation, biodiversity and sustainable development, environmental policy, environmental hazards and remedial measures, environmental education and legislation. So you can see very, very clearly how much there is applied aspect in physical geography as well. And this is very clearly reflective of the synthesis which geography has tried to achieve in recent times. Okay. So this is till now what we have understood and what we have done. Now let us move on beyond this and also try to understand few more things. So you can understand, if I give you an example, you have heard about tropical rainforest. Okay, tropical rainforest. So we will see later when we will study the biomes topic, we will see that tropical rainforest, they are such something like this. There is the canopy A, then below that there is canopy B of trees, and in fact below this we will be finding that there is even some smaller trees. That is what we call it as the canopy C. Okay. So this is the emergent layer. Then below that there are two more, at least minimum 3 canopies of trees are found in the tropical rainforest. Okay. So tropical rainforest कहाँ पर मिलते हैं? Where they are found? Near the equator they are found. Generally between 10 degree north to 10 degree south, but wherever the winds are onshore, they can also be found in the tropics. Okay. Regionally, if we talk about, can we say the largest part of such tropical rainforests are found in Amazon basin in South America. Then there is Congo basin and Guinea coast in Africa. And third important area, if you talk about worldwide, it is Indonesian region, Indonesian island region. Okay. Now, what we will be finding if we study these rainforests, it was found that in all of these areas, this principle was repeated. Okay, this principle was essentially found to be true. And what is this principle? What is this generalization? That they will have 3 layers of trees. Minimum 3 layers of trees are found. More common things we can find, like for example, if you talk about this emergent layer, largest trees, one principle you will find everywhere, they are located far away from each other. They are not located very near. Can we say it is simple to understand? Because they are very large trees, and if they are very large trees, will they require large amount of resource for survival? And if suppose this was overlapping, can I say both will compete with each other and both won't be able to grow so much tall? And that is why they are located away from each other. Similarly, we will find that these trees have light green leaves and small leaves. It is very simple to understand. Tell me, as you go above from the ground, can I say the wind velocities will increase because the friction from the ground will reduce? Yes or no? And if it is so, does it means that there will be more evapotranspiration taking place? As you go upwards, there will be more transpiration taking place. And more transpiration means that if the leaves want to save water, will they have to reduce the surface area of the leaves? Trees want to save water, they have to reduce the surface area of the leaves. So you will be finding that the leaves will be smaller. As you go, however, towards the lower third layer, the size of the leaves will become bigger and the color of the leaves will become more dark green. Okay, can you understand why? Because there is less sunlight reaching here and they want to absorb maximum sunlight to perform photosynthesis, and this can be done when the size of the leaf is larger and the color is essentially more darker. Okay, so obviously this will be the case. In fact, you can understand in this area you will also be finding several climbers. It is very common to find climbers, and a type of climbers are epiphytes. It is very too common to find them. Can we say? Obvious सी बात है, because there is hardly any sunlight reaching to the ground. So the shrubs which will be there, जो normally बाकी जगह पे shrubs होती हैं, shrubs will do what? Can I say they will become climbers? Because only by that means they can get sunlight. So we'll be finding lots of climbers and epiphytes. ठीक है? Similarly, if I study all these forests, number of other things I will find, like very common thing, one thing I will be finding is that here there will be almost negligible grasses. They are almost devoid of grasses. Grasses won't be found. Can I say it is also obvious? Because less than 1% sunlight is able to reach to the ground, and thus what will happen? The grasses are not able to survive there. ठीक है? Similarly, इस बार prelims में question भी पूछा था. In this area, the soil, if you talk about, it has essentially scarcity of organic matter. जबकि इतना organic है. So why it is so? It is true, it has less organic matter. ठीक है? You know that humus layer which is found in the soil, so it has less organic matter. Why? Because here the biological activity is very fast. Okay, microbial activity is very high. The rate of microbial activity is very high. So there is very fast decomposition of the organic matter taking place, and as a result the soils in this region, they have very less organic matter. There is undecomposed organic matter बहुत होगा, leaves falling down, so that type of organic matter will be there, but decomposed organic matter will be less because it is being consumed by the microbial organisms. So again, you will be finding it will be across all the tropical rainforests which are found. Okay. In fact, in these areas, which type of soil in general we will be finding? We will be finding red soil to be present in these areas. Okay. Because what will be taking place here, there is strong leaching occurring. So we know that in the soil there should be presence of organic matter. Normally जो चीज़ें मिलती हैं upper layer में organic matter we find that there is bases, we find that there is silica, and we find that there is iron and aluminum. So we have already seen what will happen with the organic matter. It will be removed by the microbial activity, high rate of microbial activity. What will happen with the bases? It will be leached out of the soil because there is too much precipitation taking place, lots of infiltration is occurring. So the bases, they get dissolved in water. The normal water, rainwater which is falling, can I say it is not pure water, but it is a weak carbonic acid. It absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So it will absorb the bases, they will be leached out. Silica की खासियत होती है, silica becomes mobile in warm environment. Okay, so when the temperatures is high, silica will become more soluble. Okay, so solubility of silica will increase. So we are talking about which type of area? Near equator, average temperatures throughout the year they are 27 degrees Celsius. So obviously you can understand that silica will also become soluble and it would be leached out. So what will be left in the soil? Iron and aluminum. Iron will oxidize, get oxidized, it will combine with oxygen of the atmosphere, it will convert into ferric oxide, and what will be the color of the soil becoming? Reddish. Okay. So in these areas we will be finding that there is presence of red soil. Okay. Now see what I was doing. Can I say here I was studying different parts of the world and I was trying to find out common things. I was trying to discover generalizations from them. Do you get my point? Was I making some generalization? Was I making some theory, some laws? Yes or no? It was a law that everywhere you will be finding that minimum 3 layers of trees would be found. It was a law that ultimately red soil would be found. Okay. So when I am doing this type of study where I am studying diverse phenomena and I am focusing upon the common elements, okay, and I am reaching to generalizations, general rules, such type of study or such an approach in geography has been referred to as systematic approach. It has been referred to as the systematic approach. So tell me, can we say systematic approach is also the scientific approach? It is essentially the scientific approach. Science तो हम ऐसे ही पढ़ते हैं ना. This is the way we study the sciences. So systematic approach is essentially the scientific approach. But this is one dominant approach within geography. Okay. Now if I look into my syllabus, tell me, what is the title given to paper 1? Principles of geography. Does it means that our paper 1, is it designed as a systematic approach, along the lines of systematic approach? Obviously yes, because here we are focusing upon studying of those general principles which are devised in the systematic approach of geography. Okay, I hope it is clear. So that is one approach, systematic approach. But there are some other things we need to also understand. And one important thing that we need to understand is that when this study was done, okay, later you have heard about dark ages in Europe. in the medieval period. Then came the Renaissance period, and in the Renaissance period, it was also the period of discovery. So new world was discovered, and this new world was very exhaustively studied. So when the researchers studied the Congo forests of Africa and the Amazon forests of South America, they were surprised. They got surprised. The perception was that both of them are tropical rainforests. There are so many similar things, but they were surprised to know that there was not one single species of mammal common among these forests. Not one single species of mammal which was common. Okay. What does this tells me? Can I say, does it tells me that besides similarities, can also be there differences among the various regions of the world, various areas of the world. Even if they look similar, it might be the case that they may be unique in themselves. Okay, they may be unique in themselves. Like for example, take the case of deserts. If we study the deserts of the world, deserts कहाँ पर मिलते हैं? Do we find deserts in Americas? North America, South America, दोनों में मिलते हैं. We find deserts in Africa, large deserts in Africa. We also find desert in Australia. Almost 80% Australia is a desert. Now, in desert, which type of vegetation would be found? Can I say desert or vegetation will be a type of vegetation which would be able to withstand prolonged conditions of drought? ठीक है, इस तरह की वेजिटेशन को हम बोलते हैं xerophytic vegetation. ठीक है, so xerophytic vegetation. So xerophytic vegetation is essentially a type of vegetation which is able to withstand prolonged conditions of drought. When I am saying xerophytic vegetation, I am essentially talking about what? I am talking about systematic approach. सब जगह पर क्या मिल रहा है? General rule, xerophytic vegetation will be found, and this xerophytic vegetation will have variety of adaptation mechanisms, like for example, either their roots will be very, very deep, or their roots will be very, very spread, so that whenever there is precipitation, they can acquire water from very large area, or their roots, if you talk about, or they will have parts where they can store food and water. Okay, so they will have variety of type of mechanisms, or for example, there will be absence of leaves because leaves would have converted into thorns. Okay, so there will be certain characteristics of this xerophytic vegetation. So when I am doing this study, it is essentially what? It is systematic study, systematic approach. But if I study more, I will be finding that in America, one type of xerophytic vegetation is found, which is found in not in other continents. Asia में सारे मिलते हैं, India में अगर छोड़ दें तो there is mix of things. Will in the class explain why there is mix of things. But if you look into Americas, you will be finding one type of vegetation which is cacti, cactus. You must have heard about it. Cactus is a species, and it is found where? Again in Americas it is found. You will find that cacti doesn't occur in natural conditions, in nature, in the wild, in Africa, and it is not even existing in Australia. Okay? If you go in, however, Africa, you will be finding that a species which is very similar in look to cacti, but it is not cacti. It is a totally different species. Genera is also different, and it is referred to as euphorbia. Euphorbia is found. Cactus is not found. So it is a different type of species. Similarly, if you go in Australia, you will neither find cacti, you will not find euphorbias, you will find there acacia, a different type of xerophytic species. Okay. So tell me, does it tells me that despite several similarities, are these deserts also unique in themselves? Okay. They are also unique in themselves. So every place, if you look into, there might be some similarities with other places which can be found. These similarities can be related with the physical phenomena, or they can be also related with the human phenomena. But despite that, they will also have their unique characteristics. And study of this unique characteristics of places in geography is referred to as regional approach. Okay. So this is essentially what this approach is, what we call it as the regional approach. So there is systematic approach, and if you talk about the second major approach of geography is the रीजनल अप्रोच. ठीक है. और जो हमने सिमिलैरिटीज की बात की, वो सिमिलैरिटीज फिजिकल फिनोमेना में भी हो सकता है, ह्यूमन फिनोमेना में भी हो सकता है. दे कैन बी इन बोथ. ठीक है. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल टेक द केस ऑफ इंडिया. इंडिया में जहां पर हमें आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्रीज मिल रही हैं, लाइक वन एरिया वेयर वी फाइंड देयर इज प्रेजेंस ऑफ द आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्रीज इज झारखंड. ठीक है. हमें यहाँ पर बोकारो में मिलता है, हमें यहाँ पर जमशेदपुर में मिलता है आयरन एंड स्टील इंडस्ट्रीज. So why it is found? Because we know that in such kind of industries where there is raw material and market suppose, ultimately what will happen in this kind of raw material, there is lots of waste coming out. ठीक है. It is referred to as weight losing raw material. So in case of weight losing raw material, can you understand कि अगर मैं इंडस्ट्री को यहाँ पर सेटअप करता हूँ, if I set up the industry here, will I have to also transport the waste, and will my cost of transportation increase? Obviously yes. What will happen if I set up the industry here only? Can I say I will not have to transport the entire waste or the entire ore? Yes or no? Like अगर हम देखें हेमाटाइट, hematite is the most prominent iron ore which is found in India. And if you look into hematite, we find that hematite has around 50 to 60% of the metal content. 40% इसका मतलब क्या है? वेस्ट है. तो अगर मैं उस वेस्ट को यहीं पे रिमूव कर दूं, if I remove it here itself, will I be able to save the transportation cost? My cost of transportation would essentially reduce. So this is the reason, in general, large iron and steel plants will be located where? Near the source of raw material. So either they will be found near coal or they will be found near iron ore. ठीक है. So obviously when we are talking about Jamshedpur, this area is actually Singhbhum region, Singhbhum belt of iron ore is found. And when I am talking about this Bokaro, it is actually located here, and this area is the Jharia coal fields located in the Damodar Valley. ठीक है. सो ये इंडिया में ऐसा मिल रहा है हमें. इसी तरह से इफ आई जस्ट लुक इनटू द वर्ल्ड, आई विल बी फाइंडिंग लाइक so here is Ural mountains, here is Moscow located. Okay. And we will be finding that there will be location of iron and steel industries here, and iron and steel industries here. Both places you will be finding that there is location of iron and steel industries. So why it is so? Moscow has iron and steel industries. Simple reason, like in case of India, we will see southern Ural is an area which is very rich in iron ore. Okay? And here if you talk about this area, there is one region, in fact यहाँ पर एक place है, very famous mine, Tula. So this is referred to as the Moscow Tula coal belt. Okay? So can you understand how Moscow became a very big city? Because there was establishment of iron and steel industry. ठीक है? So can I say जो same principle से इंडिया में iron and steel industries बनी है, are we finding the same principle is being obeyed? This principle is least transportation cost principle. We will later be studying one topic, Weber's industrial location theory, which is given in our models and theories. So is the same principle which we were seeing in case of India, is the same principle also obeyed in case of Russia? It is. We will see similar principle is also obeyed in case of Europe, whether you talk about Germany, whether you talk about past in how originally the Britain industries were set up. आज की डेट में वहाँ से raw material खत्म हो गया. So there is a little bit different parameters have little change. But originally how they had been established, it was again related with this same factor. Whether you talk about China, will find the same principle to be applicable. Okay? So this type of general principles will be found both in the physical as well as the human geography. Okay? Human aspects. But when we are finding these general principles, when we are extracting, when we are studying these general principles, this is referred to as systematic approach. ठीक है? And however, when we are focusing our attention on finding the unique characteristics of an area, that is regional approach. Okay, it is very simple. Think, suppose there is a family. In family there are two brothers. Can I say, will there be some similarities between them? Both of them are brothers. Some similarities will be there. For example, both of them have common parents, common family members. Maybe sometimes they might physically also there will be some similarities between them. Okay? But despite these similarities, can we say that still there would be differences among them? Okay? There will be differences among them. So in geography, we want to study both. We are focusing upon study of both. And thus in geography, we adopt two approaches. One is the systematic approach and the other is the regional approach. Okay? So region is essentially what? Region is a area which is characterized by some unique characteristics. Okay? On the basis of which it can be differentiated from other regions or other areas. ठीक है? सिलेबस में देखोगे तो एक टॉपिक दिया हुआ है एरियल डिफरेंशिएशन. तो एरियल डिफरेंशिएशन क्या है? इट इज दिस रीजनल अप्रोच. आई विल कम टू दैट. अभी आता हूं. ठीक है? हाँ, कौन सा एग्जाम्पल दिया मैंने? दिस विल बी सिस्टमैटिक, क्योंकि यहां पर तो हम जनरल बात कर रहे हैं ना. यहां पर हमने क्या किया? हमने ये रूल बनाया ना कि वेट लूजिंग रॉ मटेरियल होगा तो इंडस्ट्री कहां पर स्टैब्लिश होगी? इट वुड बी नियर द सोर्स ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल. अगर सपोज करो कि ऐसा रॉ मटेरियल होता जहां पर देयर इज नो सच वेट लूजिंग, द एंटायर रॉ मटेरियल इज एंटरिंग इन द फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट. ठीक है? तो कैन आई से वहां पर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट का फैक्टर, द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट विल नॉट डिटरमाइन द लोकेशन ऑफ इंडस्ट्री, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन अदर एडवांटेजेस। मैं इंडस्ट्री को यहां पर सेटअप कर सकता हूं, मैं इंडस्ट्री को यहां पर सेटअप कर सकता हूं, यहां पर कर सकता हूं, यहां पर कर सकता हूं, यहां पर कर सकता हूं, ठीक है। सो व्हेन वी आर मेकिंग दिस टाइप ऑफ जनरल रूल्स, जनरल प्रिंसिपल्स, दैट इज बेसिकली व्हाट, दैट इज सिस्टमैटिक अप्रोच। Okay, it is the scientific approach. But when we are focusing our attention on study of the unique characteristics of an area, that is essentially a regional approach. I hope it is clear what is systematic approach and what is regional approach. और देखते हैं थोड़ा सा. So, if you further want to understand how this would look like more, so yesterday we saw that geography can be divided into two major branches. One was physical geography and second was human geography. Can I further divide physical geography into sub branches? So we have seen there is geomorphology, there is climatology, there is oceanography, there is biogeography. Similar to that, in human geography also we can do the same thing. We can talk about economic geography, we can talk about the cultural geography, we can talk about population and settlement geography, we can talk about political geography. So these are some of the branches and sub branches of geography. ठीक है, अब geography के बारे में हमने क्या देखा है? Is geography study of phenomena as it is distributed over space? यही था geography. Geography is essentially what? It is study of geographical phenomena and its distribution over space. How it is distributed? So can I say कि यहाँ पर our columns can be those geographical spaces. Can they become our columns? So for example, if I take here Asia, Africa, Europe, America, South America, Oceania, which includes, Australia. Okay. So there are places. Now, when I take one theme in geography, okay, one theme I am taking in geography, and I am seeing how this theme is distributed all over the world. I am studying this theme and its distribution in all over the world. And from this study, what I am trying to find out? I am trying to find out how there are similarities. I am trying to formulate general principles in that particular theme. So this type of study is what? It is systematic approach. ठीक है? So geomorphology में भी हम same चीज करते हैं. We study about, for example, mountains. So हम सारे continents में देख रहे हैं there are variety of type of mountains. So on the basis of that study, can we divide these mountains? Either they will be fold mountains, or they will be volcanic mountains, they will be block mountains, or they might be also dissected mountains just formed because of differential erosion. ठीक है, so चार तरह के mountains identify कर सकते हैं. And again, when I'm saying there are types of mountains, that means on the basis of process I have already identified them. I have made a general principle. ठीक है. सो एक जनरल प्रिंसिपल बनता है कि अगर मुझे लगता है किसी माउंटेन में मुझे रॉक्स इस तरह की फोल्डेड रॉक्स मिलती है, in any mountain there is folding in the rocks taking place. ठीक है. So you can understand that means these would have been formed through which type of forces? Compressional forces would have led to their generation, and essentially this type of mountain is which type? Fold mountain. On the other hand, if I find that there is presence of this type of fault, okay, there is faulting, and this is also, this looks like a mountain. So this is which type of mountain? It is fault or block mountain. ठीक है. So faulted mountain भी बोलते हैं, block mountain, anything you can say. So again that is the case. Or you are finding that there is this kind of peak where you will find there is a crater and a conduit. In fact, below it there is also a magma chamber. It is essentially which type of mountain? Volcanic mountain. ठीक है. या फिर हमें दिखाई पड़ता है महाराष्ट्र प्लेटू जैसा सिचुएशन. इन महाराष्ट्र प्लेटू वी फाइंड दिस इज द केस, देयर इज अजंता, बालाघाट, सतमाला, हरिश्चंद्र, so actually it was before like this, but what has happened? Rivers have cut their valleys. There is differential erosion phenomena which has taken place, due to which such type of dissected mountains have been formed. Okay, I hope it is clear. So here what I have done, I have made general rules. How I made general rules? By studying this phenomena of topography or mountains across the world, how it is distributed in the world, and I studied it. I tried to find common things among them, and on the basis of which I made some rules. So when I am doing this type of study, it is what? It is systematic approach. समझ में आ गया? Can I say I can do the same thing for climate, same thing for oceans, same thing for biogeography, same thing in case of economic geography, same thing for cultural geography. ठीक है. Several rules can be framed. Like for example, culture geography का एक rule ले लो. Once there is a origin of culture, ठीक है, once a culture originate, will there be spread of culture in space? Yes or no? ठीक है. As people come in contact with each other, अगर मैं suppose करो कि I come in contact with a person and that person is wearing something very good which I like, अच्छा बढ़िया ड्रेस पहन रखा, can I say will I also, maybe I will also like to have that same dress? ठीक है. So that is basically what? This type of spread of culture, इसको बोलते हैं diffusion phenomenon. Okay, so such type of diffusion of culture is referred to as contagion diffusion. ठीक है, contagion diffusion phenomenon. But diffusion of culture can be in other ways also हो सकता है. Like for example, if I want to diffuse culture, one of the easiest and the fastest way to diffuse one culture is if I convert the person who is at the head of the society to that culture, if he adopts that culture, can I say the spread of the culture will be faster? ठीक है. For example, if you have read history, you might have seen Buddhism. Has it adopted such type of approach? ठीक है. For its spread, such type of diffusion of culture is referred to as hierarchical diffusion. ठीक है. अदर तरह के डिफ्यूजन भी हो सकते हैं. लाइक टुडे can we say North America is one of the most urbanized? In fact, it is the most urbanized continent of the earth. Urbanization levels in North America are over 80%. ठीक है, एंग्लो अमेरिका पर्टिकुलर. कैन आई से कि ये जो कल्चर यहां पर, ये जो वेस्टर्न कल्चर आया है अमेरिका में, एंग्लो अमेरिका पर्टिकुलरली, वॉज दिस कल्चर अ नेटिव कल्चर और दिस कल्चर वॉज ब्रॉट फ्रॉम समवेयर एल्स? It was brought from somewhere else because people migrated, Europeans migrated here. People are also carriers of culture. ठीक है? So this type of diffusion of culture we call it as migration diffusion. ठीक है? Similarly, there can be other type of cultures like South India. If you look into, in South India, tell me, in the particularly Western Ghats, is there plantation of coffee found? Coffee plantation, it is very famous. ठीक है? So if you talk about Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, all of these are very very famous for the plantations of coffee. ठीक है? और कॉफी की बात करें तो इंडिया में कॉफी कहां से आया? ये कॉफी का कल्चर कहां से आ गया? It was a missionary by the name of Baba Budan. ठीक है? He actually brought the coffee plant into India. ठीक है? And since then, this area began to cultivate coffee. He was brought from Ethiopia, okay, from Africa. So, you know, this was Islamic zone. So ultimately, there was several missionaries, whether Christians or Islam, they have all arrived along the Malabar coast of India. ठीक है? So he actually came along this west coast of India and he brought the coffee plant with himself, and that ultimately led to growth of this culture. ठीक है? या फिर दूसरा एक एग्जांपल ले लो, इंडिया में अगर हम क्रिश्चियनिटी को देखें तो कहां कहां पर क्रिश्चियनिटी ज्यादा है? वन एरिया इज वेयर देयर वाज ब्रिटिशर्स which were present, like Kerala is one place. It was the first place where Christianity arrived in India, or some others which were colonies, Portuguese colonies or French colonies. ठीक है? There you will be finding. Third area where you will be finding there is rise of Christianity is the tribal belt of India. ठीक है? And वहां पर how it has grown? It is actually the work of Christian missionaries. ठीक है? They are doing several missionary works and they are spreading this culture of Christianity. So there can be a fourth type of diffusion of culture which is referred to as missionary diffusion. ठीक है? तो देखो, मैंने ये डिफरेंट वर्ल्ड के पार्ट्स को पढ़ा और उसके बेसिस पर एक थ्योरी बना दी, कल्चरल डिफ्यूजन की थ्योरी. सो कल्चरल डिफ्यूजन कैन बी डन इन 4 ways. कंटेजियन डिफ्यूजन, हायरार्किकल डिफ्यूजन. ठीक है? इन दोनों को एक जैसे होते हैं तो इनको कॉन्टैक्ट डिफ्यूजन बोलते हैं. द सेकेंड टाइप इज the migration diffusion and missionary diffusion. Here people are moving, so this is referred to as relocation diffusion. ठीक है? So when I'm doing this is which approach? It is systematic approach. I hope now systematic approach is clear. Okay. However, since geography is not just concerned about study of common features, common elements, it is also concerned about study of uniqueness, unique characteristic of particular areas. So there is also regional approach. So tell me, can I study Asia as an area? And here when I am studying Asia as an area, can you understand the region which I am choosing, Asia, it can be a single criteria region? Yes or no? If I just study what is geomorphology of Asia, what are the unique characteristics of geomorphology of an Asia, can I say it will be a single criteria region, one criteria I have just chosen? Or I am studying what is the climate of Asia, again a single criteria region? Or what is the economy of Asia, single criteria region? What is the culture of Asia, single criteria region? ठीक है? Can we say, however, it can be also multi-criteria regions, where suppose I am studying the entire physical geography. तो जब हम ये सारी चीजें इंक्लूड कर लेते हैं, we call it as physiography. So such region, such multi-criteria physical region will be referred to as what? Physiographic region. ठीक है? So it is an example of what? Regional study. Or I combine all of this together, then it will be a region of Asia, a complete understanding of the region of Asia. या फिर मैं केवल मल्टी क्राइटेरिया ह्यूमन फैक्टर्स लेता हूं, वी कैन कॉल इट एज द कल्चरल रीजन. ठीक है, वी आर स्टडिंग वेरियस एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द कल्चर ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया. कल्चर इज व्हाट? कैन आई से इट इज अ वे ऑफ लाइफ. ठीक है, इट इज सम टोटल ऑफ द लिविंग स्टाइल्स. So it includes economic, it includes political, it includes the settlement population, it includes the various social aspects. ठीक है. So when I am studying a particular area, यहां पर मेरा फोकस क्या है? My focus is to differentiate this area. How Asia is different from Africa, how it is different from Europe, how it is different from North America. ठीक है. So when I am doing this type of study, it will become what? It is regional studies. It is the regional approach. So study of a particular area. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? Okay. So can you now understand one more thing? Our syllabus. What is the title of paper 2? It is Geography of India. So if we are talking about geography of India, essentially does it means that it is organized along the regional approach? Okay. So in our syllabus, there is presence of both the physical approach, the systematic approach and the regional approach. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? पक्का? Okay. Now let us dwell little bit more further. And I'll tell you the story about geography. So geography, we will see, since ancient times, the most dominant approach in geography, very, very important approach in geography, which was very unique to geography, it was regional approach. Okay? It was essentially regional approach. So we will find that regional approach was part and parcel of geography since the Greco-Roman period. Greeks used to study regional approach. Romans, Strabo, very famous, he was essentially a regional geographer. So it has been part and parcel of geography since ancient times. Scientific approach is more new in geography. It was there, but it was never dominant approach. Regional approach was the most dominating approach of geography. But there came a time, and this time was after Second World War. After Second World War, it ceased to be the important approach of geography, and geography adopted a revolution. This revolution is referred to as quantitative revolution. Syllabus में भी लिखा हुआ है, Perspectives in Human Geography के syllabus में देखोगे, तो there is a topic by the name of quantitative revolution. ठीक है. So geography adopted quantitative revolution. Quantitative revolution का काम क्या था? It was basically a method or a approach to make subjects, to convert subject into sciences, make them science like. ठीक है. तो देखो, प्रॉब्लम मैं तुम्हें बताता हूं कि सारी चीजें कहां से स्टार्ट होती हैं. You know dark ages? You have heard about dark ages? So dark ages was present in Europe particularly, where church became very, very dominating. And as the church became very dominating, there all the kind of rationality was curbed. All the kind of scientific inquiry was curbed. The books, the scientific books of the past, they started to burn them. Because you can understand, if people start thinking, then they will question the authority of God as well. So they didn't want people to think. So lots of atrocities were done by the church during that period on common people. Ultimately, there was rise of Protestant cultures, and ultimately there was rise of Renaissance. So when the Renaissance came, it was the period of enlightenment, etc., what we call it as. One very important thing changed in the European society. And what was this? It was that now it was decided that the society will be based upon rationality. You have to be what? You have to be rational. However, this rationality was defined in a particular sense of rationality. And what was this rationality defined as? It was defined in terms of cause-effect relationship. Okay? That time Newtonian method became very popular. So the cause and effect relationship. So the European rationality was all about establishing a cause, and it will have anything which you see, it will always have a cause. So the cause effect relationship. This rationality came to be later known as modernism. It became modernism. So if you are rational, then you are modern. If you still think the ways of like religion, God, etc., those traditional thinkings you still have, that means you are what? You are backward. ठीक है? So ये जो rationality है, ये cause effect, it became the basis of the European society. It had its advantages. Can I say this rationality led to several type of discoveries, scientific discoveries? And did these discoveries change the entire European society? Did they lead to origin of a revolution referred to as industrial revolution? Okay, there was industrial revolution, technological revolution occurred. And you can understand after that Europe how much became powerful essentially. So that rationality was ingrained in the Western philosophy. It is there. After this, can I say, if rationality is cause effect, which subjects, which disciplines will be considered most rational? Can we say the general sciences, whether it is physics, chemistry, mathematics, they will be considered more rational? And in such society, in such culture, rational people status is higher. So does it means that the status of the sciences will be higher? Obviously high होगा यार. और हायर स्टेटस बहुत सारी चीजों में देख सकते हैं. इट इज नॉट ओनली द रिस्पेक्ट यू गेट, इट इज ऑल्सो द मॉनिटरी बेनिफिट्स विच आर एसोसिएटेड विद दैट. सपोज अगर यूनिवर्सिटी को फंड मिला टू डू रिसर्च और टू स्पेंड मनी ऑन रिसर्च, कैन आई से द यूनिवर्सिटी विल लाइक टू स्पेंड मोर मनी ऑन रिसर्च इन साइंटिफिक थिंग्स विच इट फील्स दैट विल बी मोर बेनिफिशियल. ठीक है. So the people who belong to the scientists, the scholars who are scientists, will they also get more money? Obviously, yes. Okay. So creation of such kind of rationality became the culture of the European society. Okay. In this context, we have to understand how the developments in geography were taking place. So initially, geography scientific नहीं था. नाम से भी पता चलता है. Geo and graphy. Graphy क्या होता है? It is description. Graphy is essentially description. So initially how geography was conceived? It was conceived as description of the earth. ठीक है? If you look into what Kant had to write about this geography, he wrote that geography is description of phenomena in space. So he conceived geography as a description. नाम से भी you can understand it is description. So geography, when focusing upon regions, can I say it would have been more descriptive? It would have been essentially more descriptive. What descriptive था? ठीक है, और you can understand if it was descriptive, can I say its status would have been lower compared to the sciences? And everyone wants to earn money, or this is something which is basic necessity. So those geographers would also wanted to have earn money, and for that what was required? Can I say they had to prove that their subject is a science. They had to prove, then only they'll be getting more funds, maybe more salary. So this was always one of the objectives of geographers. But geography was essentially, you can understand that it was dominated by the regional approach. So we will see in the 19th century, particularly in the late 19th century, in fact from the middle of 19th century, even in fact before that also, there were scholars who started to try to convert geography into science. Okay. And some of them wanted to convert regional geography also into science. And they realized that thus both the approaches have their role in geography. So tell me, can I say in systematic approach we are making principles, ठीक है, we are formulating principles, general principles. तो हम general principles बना, like हमने एक general principle देखा अभी, red soil का formation was a general principle we talked about. So we are making such general principles in paper. Can we say when we are studying paper 2, like when we are doing regional geography के पढ़ने के दो तरीके हो सकते हैं. या तो मैं केवल डिस्क्रिप्शन करूं कि मैं इंडिया को पढ़ रहा हूं तो बताऊं कि यहां पर रेड सॉइल मिलता है, यहां पे ब्लैक सॉइल मिलता है. I remain just up to this stage. But if I remain up to this stage, what will happen? My status would be low. ठीक है. However, if I also use those principles from paper 1 or from systematic geography and apply them in the study of region, then can I prove how black soil would have been formed in India, how red soil would have been formed in India, how alluvial soils would have been formed in India? So if I am doing this, does the regional geography, does it also becomes more scientific? And both are compatible. You can understand, both if you talk about are complementary to each other. If I make one principle in systematic geography, tell me, when I am applying that principle in different spaces, if there was some mistake in that principle, can we identify that mistake by application? And can that principle be also improved? So regional geography is helping in improvement of systematic geography, and systematic geography is helping regional geography to get that scientific texture, to get that explanation. So both of them are complementary, and this was emphasized from the times of Ritter. We'll see classical period. He was the first person to emphasize it, that you have to develop both. Then it was later others in Germany, Richthofen, Hettner made a methodology of doing that. But कभी कभी methodology में क्या होता है ना, हम भावनाओं में बह जाते हैं. We overflow with emotions. So he overflew with emotions, didn't understood that it might become very, his method may become very cumbersome. It might be very rigid. So he made a method, a cartographic method. और उस cartographic method में क्या था? You have to identify regions. If you have to identify a region boundary, the region should be whole, a whole region. And उस whole region की खास बात क्या थी? It should take into account all geographical elements. So there was a list of geographical elements. ठीक है? So तीन basic geographical elements define किए गए: physical elements, economic elements and cultural elements. And these were further subdivided into various parts. So the list was more than 20 elements were there, geographical elements. What was the case? A geographer had to first gather information about each of these elements. He had to map the area on the basis of these elements. ठीक है. So suppose मैंने सबसे पहले element लिया topography. So I will differentiate the topography, which is mountain, which is plain, which is plateau. Okay. So first map हो गया. Then I will take second climate. So on the basis of that, cold climate, warm climate, humid, subhumid, मैप उसी एरिया को डिवाइड कर दिया और वो मैप सुपर इम्पोज किया. अब वेयर आई विल बी फाइंडिंग सिमिलर थिंग्स, बोथ द थिंग्स बिकमिंग सिमिलर, दैट विल बिकम वन रीजन. कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड? इफ आई डू दिस फॉर मोर देन 20 एलिमेंट्स, it will become very complex and very cumbersome. So the method which he tried to devise for regional geography, it was very, very difficult to achieve. In fact, what happened, yesterday also I think I told you, most of the geographers, they started studying regional geography. So first step क्या है उसमें? The first step is gathering information about those 20, more than 20 elements. So they had to gather information, they have to map them, all those things. This type of regional approach is referred to as chorography. Choro is region and graphy is description. Okay. So they started, first step is chorography. They started the first step. अब 20 elements world के लिए या किसी area के लिए gather करना, it is a difficult task. It is a very cumbersome task. ठीक है, gathering information on those 20 elements. So what was actually found कि ये सारे scholars करते रहे chorography. By the time they had collected all the information required for chorology, they had become old. They retired. They had reached retirement age. So because of that क्या हुआ? कोरोलॉजी डेवलप ही नहीं हुआ. लॉजी इज साइंस, सो द साइंस ऑफ रीजन्स कुडंट डेवलप. ठीक है. एंड ज्योग्राफी एसेंशियली रिमेन्ड वेरी डिस्क्रिप्टिव. सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में देखा गया दैट ऑलमोस्ट ऑल सब्जेक्ट्स हैड समथिंग टू ऑफर in the war efforts in United States. Like for example, you can understand, can we say meteorology ने help किया होगा in the to the air force? Geologists would have helped the army to dig trenches. Which area, which geology would be more suitable for digging the trenches? So every subject had its contribution in the war efforts. But there was geographers who had almost none contribution. Geography, particularly human geography, had no contribution. It was more concerned with study of regions or regions को describe करते रहो. It became like encyclopedia type subject. After the World War, people began to ask question, why do you need geography? What is the usefulness of such a subject which is of no help to the society? Why we need to spend money in this subject? So there was a crisis of identity which came in. From many universities, geography began to be dropped as a discipline. So in one of the incidents of University of Harvard, there was a very famous scholar, MP Billing. He was a geologist and he was the head of the earth science department, of which geography was also part. And one day he came to office and he was furious. And why he was furious? Because he came to know that there were some funds which were there for research. Those funds had been allocated to geography department. So he became furious. He started shouting that those funds were kept for some necessary research, some important research, not for leisure. And what was the consequence of that? Next day itself, geography status of a discipline was taken. Geography ceased to remain a discipline. It was merged with other subjects. ठीक है. And again it was a kind of identity crisis for the geographers. तो उस समय क्या हुआ, जोग्राफर्स के पास एक ही तरीका था, ओनली वन वे वाज लेफ्ट टू शो द वर्ल्ड दैट देयर सब्जेक्ट इज आल्सो व्हाट, साइंस. एंड thus they adopted some principles. A movement in fact became, and this movement came to be known as quantitative revolution. So with quantitative revolution several principles, several theories, in fact ये जो सारी theories यहाँ पे लिखी हुई हैं हमारे सिलेबस में, कैन यू सी ऑल दिस मॉडल्स, थ्योरीज एंड लॉज इन ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी. बिफोर सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर दे वर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ ज्योग्राफी. वो ज्योग्राफी के पार्ट एंड पार्सल ही नहीं थे. दे वर नॉट पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ ज्योग्राफी. व्हाट हैपेंड आफ्टर दिस क्वांटिटेटिव रिवोल्यूशन स्टार्टेड, geographers imported these theories from other disciplines, okay, and they made them as a part of geography. Like for example, if you look into the syllabus, there is central place theory of Crisler and Losch. It was a theory which was present in economics, so they imported this theory from economics. Similarly, von Thunen model, Weber's model of industrial location, all of these were present in economics and they were imported into geography. So वहां से geography कैसा होने लगा, it began to become scientific. ठीक है. बट soon it was realized, बहुत जल्दी ही ये realization हो गया कि geography is about what? It is about study of human and environment relationship. ठीक है. And when you are talking about the human and environment relationship, human beings are characterized by variabilities. They are characterized by diversity. Tell me, what is human? Or what is humanness?
Cognitive ability.
Okay, that can be one thing we can talk about. But you have to understand, cognitive ability is not just in the human beings. There are many things we can talk about, but humanness in simple terms or in one term we can define as it is the diversity that is found among the human. That is essentially the humanness. ठीक है. How we will see, there is a humanistic approach in geography. So humanistic approach geography में क्या कहता है? This diversity, this variety, this uniqueness of the human beings, that is essentially humanness. ठीक है. So soon it was realized that human beings can be very diverse creatures and you cannot be fully scientific with respect to them. You can use those methods, but you have to also include the human element. You cannot become like physical sciences because human beings is a different category altogether. ठीक है. So tell me, ठीक है, हम एक लॉजिक लगाते हैं. Suppose you have to eat burger. देखिए, बर्गर खाना है हमें, तो बर्गर यहाँ पास में भी मिलता है. इफ यू जस्ट गो बड़ा बाजार रोड, ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर, यू विल फाइंड बर्गर. मेनी शॉप्स will deliver you burger and good burgers also. So one person if wants to eat burger, can I say उसको logically साइंस के हिसाब से, रैशनैलिटी के हिसाब से कहाँ जाना चाहिए? पास में जाना चाहिए, नियर बाय ना, पास में है, एफर्ट्स कम लगेंगे. You just want to eat burger, you don't have to buy a car. If you have to buy a car, their utility is big. You can go distance. Here you just have to eat a burger. ठीक है. बट ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि सपोज you were there sometimes back in Noida and there you're sitting in MACD and there was one waiter or waitress and smiles were exchanged. So can I say जब अगली बार बर्गर खाना होगा तो मैं रेशनैलिटी छोड़ के वहीं पहुंच जाऊंगा? ठीक है. So when we are talking about the human beings, it becomes very diverse phenomenon. Those laws may or may not apply for the human beings. ठीक है. So soon in geography it was realized that a better approach for geography is which one? It is the regional approach. Because in regional approach, we are studying this unique characteristics of the humans. ठीक है. So from 1970s again, what happened? Geography shifted to the regional approach. However, this regional approach, we call it as new regional approach or new regional geography. So what is new in this regional geography? This regional geography tries to be more analytical and not descriptive like the previous regional geography. It is more explanatory. And how in region you can do explanations? Can I say by using the principles of the systematic geography? ठीक है. So today we are in the paradigm of new regional approach or new regional geography. ठीक है. So that is what you have to learn. इसका सीधा मतलब है whatever we have discussed here. Tell me, does it means that if I am writing the principles of geography, if I can use certain examples as evidences to prove what I am saying is correct, will I get more marks? Obviously, I'll get more marks. And these evidences, tell me, can I get these evidences in paper 2? पेपर 2 में वो एविडेंसेस मिलेंगे कि नहीं मिलेंगे? वेबर का इंडस्ट्रियल लोकेशन थ्योरी हमने पढ़ा. Did we saw that it was applicable in case of Bokaro? It was applicable in case of Jamshedpur. ठीक है. Same principle. We'll see like jute. Most of the jute industries are located where? In Kolkata Hooghly belt. Can I say that area is the most important producer of jute? And jute textile is based upon jute, which is a weight losing raw material. So can I use that example even in paper 1 when I am talking about? Because whatever I say, suppose मैं तुमको कुछ बताता हूं कि तुम्हें ऐसे पढ़ना चाहिए तो तुम्हारा सिलेक्शन होगा. लेकिन मैं साथ में ये भी कह दूं कि देखो मेरा स्टूडेंट था रैंक 5, उसने ऐसे पढ़ा था तो उसका सिलेक्शन हो गया. Which one will be more powerful? The second one, where I have also given an evidence in support of what I am saying, what I am asserting. So paper 1 में can I use lots of things, examples from paper 2, which I can put here? Obviously, yes, I can do that. And paper 2 में what can we do? Can we apply the principles from paper 1? Obviously, yes, we can apply the principles. ठीक है. Like for example, देखेंगे diffusion of information theory कहता है कि diffusion of information occurs slowly in space and it is never uniform. Only what will happen space में there will be growth of some clusters which will acquire that information. ठीक है. So tell me, can I apply this idea of diffusion of information when I am explaining green revolution? Yes or no? Green revolution भी ऐसे हुआ है. It is slowly, it has happened over time. So 3 stages में या 2 stages में, 3rd stage आज की डेट में हम बात करें second green revolution. ठीक है. So it has happened in, there were 3 stages of the first green revolution and now there is a second green revolution we are talking. So it has happened in stages and area wise also. You see, is it uniformly diffused or it is uniformly distributed? Green revolution? No, it hasn't reached everywhere, still everywhere in. There are parts of India where green revolution is most developed, where it has reached. Can we say interior locations of the Himalayas or major locations of the Himalayas? There is no such green revolution. The tribal belts, there also you will be finding no such green revolution has reached. Okay. Where there is scarcity with respect to water, there also there is no green revolution. Okay. So that is what we have to essentially do. Use paper 2 in paper 1, paper 1 in paper 2. And with this, what will happen? My task will reduce. अलग से मुझे नहीं करना. My task will essentially reduce. बहुत सारे लोग तुमने सुना होगा कि केस स्टडी, अरे केस स्टडी इकट्ठा करना है. अरे पूरा पेपर 2 केस स्टडी है यार. इट इज देयर. सो स्पेशली केस स्टडी इकट्ठा करना है तो पेपर 2 के लिए इकट्ठा करो. एंड दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी यूज्ड इन पेपर 1. वन डे स्टूडेंट केम टू मी एंड मैंने यही बात बोली तो मुझे पूछा, सर बट पेपर 1 तो वर्ल्ड ज्योग्राफी है, तो कैन वी यूज पेपर 2 इंडियन ज्योग्राफी? तो मैंने उससे पूछा, मैंने बोला कि यार ये बताओ कि क्या इंडिया जो है वो वर्ल्ड के बाहर है? अगेन it is not so, it is part of the world. What is the basic purpose of a case study? The basic purpose of a case study or example is to provide evidence to support our assertions, and it can be done with respect to any place of the world which we are talking about. ठीक है? So this is what we essentially have to do. Okay, so if I just go through our syllabus, you can understand that there is physical geography, which has 5 parts: geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography and environmental geography. Then if you look into human geography, there is perspectives in human geography, economic geography, population and settlement geography, regional planning, models, theories and laws in human geography. So 10 topics are there in paper 1. Out of that, इस topics में से can I say 5 topics belong to physical geography and 5 topics belong to human geography. ठीक है? Okay. Then if I further look into geography of India, physical setting, resource, agriculture, industry, transport, communication and trade, cultural setting, settlements, regional development planning, political aspects, contemporary issues, 10 topics here also. Now if I look into physical geography, पहला topic था physical setting, दूसरा topic क्या था? resource, agriculture, industry, transport, trade and communication, population, settlement or cultural setting and settlement, regional development planning, political aspects, all of these are what? Human geography हो गए. Even contemporary issues if you talk about, even if you look into contemporary issues, can you see there are some physical geography topics like environmental hazards, landslides, earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, droughts, epidemics. There are some physical geography topics, but can I say others? If you talk about many of these topics like concept of sustainable growth and development, linkages of rivers, globalization and Indian economy, regional disparities in economic development, problems of agrarian and industrial unrest, all of these topics, tell me, do they belong to human geography? Yes, they belong to human geography. ठीक है? So पेपर 2 में 15% फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी है और 85% क्या है? ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी है. ठीक है? नाउ अगर मैं इसको कंबाइन करूं पूरे सिलेबस को, आई कैन रीच टू अ कंक्लूजन एंड से दैट इन द सिलेबस, if the entire syllabus is 100, we can say that physical geography is total 35% of the syllabus, and if you talk about the human geography, it is how much? 65% of the syllabus. ठीक है? लेकिन जब ज्योग्राफी पढ़ाया जाता है खासतौर पे यूपीएससी की फील्ड में, तो व्हाट इज द रेशियो विच इज गिवन ऑफ टाइम? here it is 70% and here it is 30%. This is literally the ratio which is being followed in almost all of the coachings. And can you understand, it is but obvious कि अगर तुम इस तरह से पढ़ाओगे स्टूडेंट को तो स्टूडेंट won't be prepared for the examination, because there is more number of questions being asked from human geography. In fact, if you look into the questions which are being asked in physical geography, those questions have become tough. They have become more technical. There is very high probability that even if you have studied entire geomorphology, बहुत अच्छे से अपनी प्रिपरेशन का 80% टाइम तुमने जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी में दे दिया, उसके बावजूद भी वो क्वेश्चन नहीं सॉल्व हो पा रहा. Even after that you are unable to solve that question. I have a 6,000 page encyclopedia of geomorphology और उसमें से मैं ऐसे ऐसे क्वेश्चंस बना सकता हूं, you won't be able to even understand. लिखना तो दूर की बात. ठीक है, देखो ऐसा नहीं होता है. हमें, मेरा कहने का बस ये मतलब है कि डोंट मेक दिस काइंड ऑफ रेशियो. फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी बाय नेचर थोड़ा ज्यादा टाइम लेता, ठीक है. स्टिल हम क्या कर सकते हैं, रादर देन कीपिंग दिस 70-30, रादर देन दिस 70%, रादर देन कीपिंग दिस, कैन आई से आई शुड ट्राई टू एटलीस्ट बैलेंस इट 50-50. ठीक है. अब जैसे अभी हमारा जो बैच अभी जो चल रहा है, इन दैट वी आर ट्राइंग टू फिनिश जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी इन 22 क्लासेस. द टारगेट इज टू फिनिश दैट इन 22 क्लासेस एंड वील बी एबल टू डू. अदर प्लेसेस दे आर टेकिंग हाउ मेनी 40-45 क्लासेस and they are not even teaching 60% of what we have taught in the class. The depth, the exhaustiveness of the topics that we are dealing with. ठीक है. So you have to devise strategies to make sure कि हमें दोनों चीजें करनी है. Not just physical geography, but human geography. And regarding the score, you can understand. Can I say स्कोर सबसे ज्यादा कैसे आएगा? सपोज मेरे पास 2 क्वेश्चन है. ओके, वन क्वेश्चन इज वेयर आई फील कि जो मैं लिखूंगा, वट एवर आई विल बी राइटिंग, द चांसेस इज हाई दैट द एग्जामिनर इज ऑल्सो थिंकिंग द सेम. ठीक है. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन द डिवीजन साइकिल ऑफ इरोजन. ठीक है. या फिर क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग हाउ प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स थ्योरी इज एन इंप्रूवमेंट ओवर कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थ्योरी. ये एक तरह का क्वेश्चन हो गया. ठीक है. देन देयर कैन बी डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आल्सो. देयर कैन बी मोर सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, द पॉवर्टी इन डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज इज आउटकम ऑफ नॉट ओनली फिजिकल बट ऑल्सो cultural factors. This is another question. ठीक है. Can I say पहले वाली कैटेगरी ऑफ क्वेश्चन में मैं ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी का ही क्वेश्चन दे देता हूं. इसका भी फर्स्ट कैटेगरी का क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन द वॉन थ्यूनेन मॉडल ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल लोकेशन. तो सपोज वी टेक दिस फर्स्ट कैटेगरी एंड जो हमारा पॉवर्टी वाला क्वेश्चन है, विच क्वेश्चन डू यू थिंक you when you will write, your chances probability that your answer will match the model answer of the examiner will be high. The first one, the more objective one. ठीक है. So मेरा सबसे पहला टारगेट क्या होगा? I choose such objective type of questions where my ability or my probability that my answers, if you talk about, would be matching with the model answers of the examiner will be high. ठीक है. और मुझे मिल जाएंगे लगभग, अगर हमें 19 क्वेश्चन करने होते हैं एग्जाम में, तो उसमें से समझ लो कि 7 से 8 क्वेश्चन लगभग इस तरह के मिल जाते हैं आउट ऑफ द 19 क्वेश्चन दैट वी हैव टू चूज. ठीक है. बट इस क्वेश्चन में मार्क्स लाने के लिए सबसे खास बात क्या है? व्हाट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग? what is written there has to be written also in your copy. ठीक है? So अगर सपोज करो कि मैं वॉन थ्यूनेन मॉडल लिख रहा हूं एंड you'll see von Neumann model, first thing he starts with assumptions. So he assumes few things, that there is isotropic surface, there is economic rational human being, etc etc. He has done 7 assumptions. ठीक है? अब स्टूडेंट्स की प्रॉब्लम क्या है? दे आर नॉट मगिंग अप, दे आर नॉट मेमोराइजिंग प्रॉपरली, बिकॉज ऑफ विच दे विल नॉट रिमेंबर दैट. So in this type of questions, they will not be very confident because they know their lack of memorization will be caught by the exam. Question पूछता है एग्जाम में, बॉटम टोपोग्राफी ऑफ पैसिफिक ओशन, 10 में से 6 लोग नहीं लिख रहे हैं. क्यों नहीं लिख रहे भाई? सीधा क्वेश्चन है यार. So there your marks will depend upon whether everything which was required you have written it or not. ठीक है? तो अगर वो सारी चीजें आपने कर दी तो आप सेफ हो, 50% मार्क्स आपके हैं. देन आई कैन ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड माई ओन क्रिएटिविटी. कैन आई से व्हेन द थ्योरीज आर देयर आई कैन ऐड सम एग्जांपल्स, माई पर्सनल एग्जांपल्स, केस स्टडीज. आई कैन लिटिल बिट इनोवेट इन द डायग्राम्स. And if I can do that, वही 50% बढ़ के 70%. So if I have chance, if I am prepared, I will always try to choose such type of questions, whether they belong to physical geography or whether they belong to human geography, it doesn't matter. ठीक है? So that is where the score lies. क्योंकि जिस क्वेश्चन को मुझे वहीं पे बैठ के बनाना है, ठीक है, you can understand my ability because how much time I am getting? A short note I am getting 6 to 7 minutes. Okay, in 15 marker I am getting around 11 minutes, and in a 20 marker I am getting around 15 minutes, 15 maximum 16 minutes I am getting. So can you imagine, उसी में तुम्हें create करना है. You won't be able to get 70% marks there. उसमें 40% 50% मिल गया तो आई शुड बी वेरी थैंकफुल. ठीक है? सो दैट इज हाउ वी स्कोर, एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई एम ऑलवेज सेइंग, आई एम रिपीटिंग फ्रॉम पास्ट सो मेनी ईयर्स कि भाई तुम लोग ये जो पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द बेसिक एंड एनरिचमेंट. व्हाट इज हैपनिंग नाउ, देयर आर सो मेनी सोर्सेस which are telling you ये enrichment, वो enrichment, ऐसे enrichment करना. If you don't write proper, any enrichment will not work. The basic content is the most important thing, and people they are not memorizing this basic content, and this is the main problem. फिर उसके बाद एग्जाम में नंबर नहीं आ रहे हैं तो गाली दो, ज्योग्राफी को गाली दो, यूपीएससी को गाली दो, लाइफ को गाली दो. बट स्टिल अगेन यू ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, ये इंफॉर्मेशन एज हैज बिकम अ काइंड ऑफ दुश्मन फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स. समटाइम्स टू मच इज ऑल्सो बैड, एंड दिस टू मच हैज हैपेंड, बिकॉज ऑफ विच मोस्ट ऑफ देम अभी भी देखो टेस्ट लिखने आ रहे हैं, एंड What is happening in the test? वो बेसिक किसी को कुछ नहीं आता. उसके बाद भी आएंगे सर कैसे एनरिचमेंट कैसे कर, What should be my strategy? और उससे भी फालतू क्वेश्चन पूछने वाले हैं लोग भी आते हैं. One of the students asked me, in fact there were 4 of them who came in group, and they asked me कि ठीक है, guidance has become the most famous coaching in geography, and but don't you think sir that all of them are writing the same content which you are teaching in the class? So how my answers will be different from others? मैंने कहा कि अगला जब टेस्ट होगा ना तो तू आकर के वो जो मैंने पढ़ाया पूरा लिख के दिखा देना, फिर मैं देखूंगा. देयर इज नॉट अ सिंगल स्टूडेंट हु कैन रिप्रोड्यूस 100%. नॉट अ सिंगल स्टूडेंट. Majority are able to reproduce. You'll be surprised to know the numbers, 20 to 30%. Majority का reproduction rate यही है, 20 to 30%. The people who are getting selected, they are able to reproduce in the range of 50 to 70%. ठीक है? So this kind of thinking is, I don't have words to say for that. तो बेसिकली मुझे क्या करना है, अपना कंटेंट, बेसिक कंटेंट अच्छे से पढ़ना, एंड दैट विल बी मोर देन सफिशिएंट. ठीक है. नाउ सो दिस इज आवर सिलेबस, एंड द की इज वेयर द की लाइज इन प्रिपेयरिंग बोथ ह्यूमन एज वेल एज फिजिकल जॉब. ठीक है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि एग्जामिनेशन में देयर आर 3 टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. And I'm talking about geography mains paper. Okay. And these 3 type of questions, first is direct type of questions. And second, if you talk about, is the tricky type of questions. Third, if you talk about, is the exceptional type of questions. एक्सेप्शनल टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है. तो अगर मैं कुछ डायरेक्ट के एग्जांपल्स दूं, इनफैक्ट ये डायरेक्ट जो होता है इट इज बिटवीन 40 to 50%. ट्रिकी इज बिटवीन 40 to 50%. एंड इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द एक्सेप्शनल कैटेगरी, इट इज 0 to 20%. ठीक है. This is the ratio of the questions which are being asked. अब इसके कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स लेते हैं. लाइक डायरेक्ट का अगर मैं एग्जाम्पल लूँ, एंड इफ आई जस्ट, अभी जो मैंने टेस्ट बनाया था, लाइक यू सी, what are natural regions, how are they different from planning regions. ठीक है. तो ये क्वेश्चन है, सिलेबस है ज्योग्राफी का. कैन यू सी concept of region and types of region. So there in types of region we are studying, there are 3 types of regions: formal region, functional region and एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव और प्लानिंग रीजन्स. तो जो क्वेश्चन पूछा है यहां पर, नेचुरल रीजन्स, दे आर अ टाइप ऑफ फॉर्मल रीजन्स विच आर डिफाइंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ फिजिकल क्राइटेरिया. ठीक है. कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड, अभी तक मैं लगभग 6 कॉपियां चेक कर चुका हूं. ठीक है. जो मेरे पास आई चेक करने के लिए, उस 6 में से एक ने भी ये नहीं लिखा है डेफिनेशन में कि they are a type of formal regions. Not one has written. ठीक है. So this is what, this is a direct type of question. अब इसका आंसर एकदम फिक्स्ड है. It is very fixed and you should be very prepared. In fact ये PYQ था which I have taken in the test. It was a PYQ. And अगेन इस क्वेश्चन में 10 नंबर का क्वेश्चन है. टिल नाउ मैक्सिमम मार्क्स आई हैव गिवन इज 3 मार्क्स. कैन यू इमेजिन? सो क्यों? क्योंकि लोग, अभी बात करते हैं, विल टॉक अबाउट दैट. सो दैट इज वन, डायरेक्ट. देन देयर इज ट्रिकी कैटेगरी. ट्रिकी कैटेगरी में क्या होता है? थिंग्स विच यू हैव स्टडीड. ओके. क्वेश्चंस विल बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम देयर ओनली. Just the statements can be there, tricks can be there. You have to identify. ठीक है. Like for example, मैंने यहां पर एक क्वेश्चन बनाया, Do you agree that specific places or regions remain important within the global economy? Justify your answer. Okay. Now I have taught one concept in the class, and this is global sense of place. There is a concept, global sense of place. ठीक है, मैंने सारी कॉपीज में स्कैन करके देखा था, जो कॉपीज आई थी, एक ने भी आइडेंटिफाई नहीं किया दैट दिस वाज अबाउट द ग्लोबल सेंस ऑफ प्लेस. ठीक है, सो दिस इज व्हाट इट इज अ ट्रिकी कैटेगरी. अदर्स लाइक assess the role of government in determining demographic transition. ठीक है, in determining the demographic transition. तो डेमोग्राफिक ट्रांजिशन थ्योरी पढ़ते हैं. अब डेमोग्राफिक ट्रांजिशन थ्योरी में दो चीजें हो रही हैं, देयर इज डिक्लाइन इन मोर्टालिटी एंड देन अल्टीमेटली देयर इज डिक्लाइन इन फर्टिलिटी. इन अ कंट्री डेमोग्राफिक ट्रांजिशन वुड ऑल्सो बी अफेक्टेड बाय माइग्रेशन. ठीक है, तो कैन आई से मुझे 3 हेडिंग्स मिल गई 3 पैराग्राफ्स की. हाउ गवर्नमेंट कैन कंट्रोल डेमोग्राफिक ट्रांजिशन? कैन इट कंट्रोल और कैन इट इन्फ्लुएंस द मोर्टालिटी? कैन इट इन्फ्लुएंस फर्टिलिटी? एंड कैन इट इन्फ्लुएंस माइग्रेशन? अगेन किसी भी आंसर में इस तरह से सिस्टमैटिकली लिखा नहीं. सो सच टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दे आर ट्रिकी टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन. बट यहां पर इसमें कैटेगरी में क्या है, यू हैव टू थिंक देयर इटसेल्फ, यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द थीम. सो उतना अच्छा आंसर नहीं बन पाएगा जितना ये पहले से बना हुआ, because this is something which you are already prepared. And then there is exceptional. इस बार मैंने टेस्ट में कोई एक्सेप्शनल क्वेश्चन नहीं डाला था, बट देयर आर एवरी ईयर यू विल बी फाइंडिंग ज्योग्राफी के पेपर में जो पहला क्वेश्चन होता है इट इज एक्सेप्शनल टाइप. ठीक है, तो क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया सूडो वॉल्केनिज्म. ठीक है, इस बार लाइक यू माइट हैव सीन स्पीलियोथेम्स, तो वो एक्सेप्शनल मैं नहीं मानता हूं. इफ यू हैव रेड about the karst topography, you should know what are speleothems. अभी आ रहा हूं, उसी पे आ रहा हूं. तो एक्सेप्शनल क्वेश्चंस भी होते हैं. ठीक है, नाउ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज लाइक 2017 के पेपर में देयर वाज दिस क्वेश्चन ऑफ स्यूडो वॉल्केनिज्म. ठीक है, स्यूडो वॉल्केनिज्म वाज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. There was one of my students, in fact 4 of my students scored 300 plus marks. Highest marks was 327, 319, 316 and 315. उस साल 4 स्टूडेंट थे जिन्होंने 300 प्लस स्कोर किया. ठीक है, और चारों से मैंने बात की कि क्या तुम लोगों को सूडो वॉल्केनिज्म आता था? चारों ने बोला नहीं आता. One of them who scored 327, he was the only person who framed anything. और उसने लिख दिया, बाकी ने छोड़ दिया. So what is the moral of the story? Moral of the story is they don't determine your selection. These determine. Here you have to target that you get 60 to 70% of marks you are able to achieve in. But वो कब अचीव होगा? जब ये पहले से प्रिपेयर्ड होंगे और रटे हुए, तभी मैं ये नंबर अचीव कर सकता. ठीक है, दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव टू टारगेट हियर. और आउट ऑफ 19 क्वेश्चंस दैट यू हैव टू राइट, 7 to 8 क्वेश्चंस विल बिलोंग टू डायरेक्ट कैटेगरी. ठीक है, देन comes this tricky category. Here your marks depending upon your strength should range from 40 to 60%. ठीक है, 40 to 60% पर रेंज करना चाहिए. कम से कम 40% इसमें भी स्कोर करना ही करना. दैट शुड बी द टारगेट. एक्सेप्शनल, इट इज बाय गॉड्स ग्रेस, अगर कुछ मिल गया तो ठीक है, अदरवाइज you can understand it is not very necessary. और exceptional question compulsory में 1 होता है, that means 10 mark. बाकी exceptional questions choice में होते. if you actually look into the paper how it is there. ठीक है, तो यानी कि आपका जो एक्सेप्शनल छूटेगा, अगर छोड़ भी देते हो तो वो 10 नंबर का ही छूटेगा. आउट ऑफ 250, if you're leaving 10 marks, I don't think it is a very big deal. Out of 240 you can score very good marks. ठीक है. Now what is the problem happening? अगर एग्जाम में ऐसा कुछ दिख गया जो हमने पढ़ा नहीं है, स्यूडो वोल्केनिज्म या फिर बास्केट ऑफ एग टोपोग्राफी या फिर स्पीलियोथेम्स, ठीक है, हर साल आ रहा है. पहला क्वेश्चन ऐसा ही होता है और वो भी जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी का होता है. What will happen? Human beings, it is the behavior of the human beings that we have fear of unknown. It is part of our behavior. जो चीज हमें पता नहीं होती हम उससे सबसे ज्यादा डरते हैं. ठीक है. So as soon as a student sees these questions, what happens? उसका जो पूरा फोकस है उसी क्वेश्चन पे स्टक हो जाता है. वो भूल जाता है कि यार पेपर में ये नेचुरल रीजन्स वाला भी तो क्वेश्चन था, उसमें मुझे क्यों 3 ही नंबर मिल रहे हैं, क्यों नहीं मुझे उसमें 6 नंबर मिल रहे हैं, 7 नंबर मिल रहे हैं. ठीक है. द एनालिसिस शिफ्ट्स टुवर्ड्स दोज क्वेश्चन जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ आवर बिहेवियर. और फिर उसके बाद उसकी प्रिपरेशन क्या हो जाती है? द प्रिपरेशन बिकम्स ज्योग्राफी, एक खोज, डिस्कवरी ऑफ ज्योग्राफी. ठीक है. तो दे विल कीप ऑन सर्चिंग दोज एक्सेप्शंस. वो पढ़ेंगे भी नहीं, वो लैपटॉप में होगा या फिर फिजिकली वो रखा होगा. यू नो, यू पीपल ऑल्सो वुड हैव स्टार्टेड दिस कलेक्शन ऑफ पीडीएफ्स. ठीक है. एंड you'll keep on searching, you'll keep on searching, you'll forget, यार उससे सिलेक्शन नहीं हो रहा. These are getting you selected. क्लास में जो पढ़ाया गया उससे सिलेक्शन हो रहा है, but still you are in search of these, and this is the biggest problem that is taking place. So make sure that we don't follow this. Okay, उसको प्रिपेयर नहीं कर सकते. If we are lucky, maybe something कुछ पढ़ा होगा तो वो आ गया. ठीक है. बट उसको प्रिपेयर नहीं किया जा सकता है. दिस इज वेयर वी कैन बी प्रिपेयर्ड एंड दिस विल गेट अस सिलेक्टेड. ओके. So that is, I believe, what has to be followed. This is the strategy that you have to essentially follow. ठीक है. Then sources की भी बात कर लेते हैं. What should be the sources that we have to follow? Think about this कि अगर मेरे पास suppose there is, if I prepare a core, there is a kind of fundamentals. My fundamentals become strong. Okay. Can I say, is it possible that I can add more layers of learning over it in a very arranged manner? ठीक है. Fundamentals should be very strong, the core. You can keep on adding the layers later on, but before that you have to make sure that your fundamental is strong. ठीक है. It is something like, suppose if I am making a building and I prepare the base, if I make the base weak, can I say the building cannot become very tall? So that base has to be made very strong. ठीक है. So what is this core? If you are joining guidance, it will be the class notes. You must be aware we are the most famous for our class notes. So many students, in fact, you know, day before yesterday I got a call from one of the students who has scored 300 marks this year in geography option. ठीक है, उसके 300 नंबर आए हैं. मुतवारसी इज अ गर्ल एंड very interesting her story is that you might have heard about people leaving geography and opting for other options because they are not getting marks in geography. ठीक है, she had social and she was not able to score in social, so she changed her optional to geography and she started preparing. She started to prepare from books. She didn't do any coaching classes, and what she did, she got the notes of guidance and guidance के notes पढ़े. फिर उसके बाद हमारे यहाँ टेस्ट सीरीज लगाई and this year she got 300 marks. Finally she didn't get selected despite being the topper of the optional because उसके बाकी एरियाज में मार्क्स थोड़े कम हो गए, बट ज्योग्राफी में she has done exceptionally well. So how she was able to do that core, that fundamental, she was able to make. So if you are joining guidance, notes if you talk about, I get so many messages, just students messaging me to thank for the class notes because that actually helped them, their preparation become very scientific, very arranged. ये बहुत scientifically arranged है, आपको बस उसको रटना है. They are more like answers. You just have to mug them up, memorize them. Once you have memorized properly, जब तुम लोगों ने memorize कर लिया, ठीक है, तब उसके बाद if you want to study anything else, ठीक है, कुछ भी पढ़ना हो मैं मना नहीं करूँ, ठीक है, but you'll have to look me in the eye and say कि sir, you can ask anything from these notes and I will be in a position to answer. And if you can do that, if you can look me in the eye and say this, तो मैं दिलवाले दुल्हनिया का अमरीश पुरी बन जाऊँ, बोलूँगा जा सिमरन जा जी ले अपनी, ठीक है, बट उससे पहले नहीं, बिकॉज उससे पहले अगर ये हुआ तो दैट मीन्स योर कोर इज नॉट रेडी and everything that you will be adding extra, it will be essentially what? It will be fragmented. It will be like this and it will not make sense. ठीक है, तो इसलिए सबसे पहले वो कोर को बनाना है. जो लेयर ऑफ एनरिचमेंट जो होना चाहिए वो क्या क्या होना चाहिए? द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट लेयर ऑफ एनरिचमेंट इज, आई से ऑलवेज, इज द रिवीजन, practice, and one more layer of enrichment is the adding of examples, case studies. ठीक है, तो these are the layer of enrichment जो हमें करने. अब इसके बाद भी तुम्हें और enrichment करना है, you still feel I need to read the book, you are free to do. बट फर्स्ट ये करके देख लो और फिर उसके बाद अगर मार्क्स नहीं आते हैं देन यू टेल मी, बट यू हैव टू डू दिस. ठीक है, उसके बाद भी जस्ट बिकॉज आई एम अ टीचर एंड आई हैव टू गिव यू बुक्स नेम, वरना तुम लोग सोचोगे इनको इन्होंने किताब ही नहीं पढ़ी है, तो कुछ नाम बता देता हूं मैं. वन बुक where I will give some homework in geomorphology particularly will be, there is a book by the name of Physical Geography by Savindra Singh. By Savindra Singh. और इसमें से मैं केवल कौन से चैप्टर्स पढ़ने के लिए बोलूंगा? I'll just tell you to read some chapters like the erosion, like fluvial erosion, एओलियन, कास्ट, कोस्टल, ग्लेशियल, पेरीग्लेशियल, और उसमें भी मैं स्पेसिफिकली बता दूंगा कि उन चैप्टर्स में भी क्या पढ़ना. लाइक you'll have to read some landforms and some processes. So just for that, I am telling you to have this book because I'll give some homework. Okay. Hmm? Hmm. जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी सविंदर सिंह, हाँ ठीक है, अगर वो है तो जरूरत नहीं करेंगे. So that is one book. Then another book is Certificate in Geography by G.C. Leong. This is something which you also have to read for your GS. ठीक है, तो ये बुक होनी चाहिए. इसमें से भी I will be telling you to read specific chapters for our purpose. So specifically from chapter 15 से 25. 15 to 25. So you might have seen in chapters 15 to 25 there are climatic regions which are discussed separately. So there is a chapter on tropical rainforest, there is a chapter on tropical deciduous or tropical monsoon. So इस तरह से करके there are these chapters discussed. So that is basically what I want you to read. ठीक है. Third, if you talk about, there is a book by the name of Models in Geography by Majid Hussain. Models in Geography by Majid Hussain. This is the book which I want you to have for human geography. ठीक है. माजिद हुसैन की कई बुक्स आती हैं, 3 बुक्स आती हैं. ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी एक आती है, ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी बाय माजिद हुसैन. दिस इज अनदर वन विच इज कमिंग, एंड द थर्ड वन, ज्योग्राफिकल थॉट्स बाय माजिद हुसैन. आई एम टेलिंग यू टू बाय दिस वन, टू हैव दिस वन, मॉडल्स इन ज्योग्राफी, बिकॉज जो ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी बुक है दैट इज नॉट अलाइंड अकॉर्डिंग टू आवर सिलेबस. ओके, दैट वाज मोर अलाइंड विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू जब प्रीलिम्स में भी ऑप्शनल आपको चूज करना होता था, तो लाइक वी यूज टू चूज, मेरा जैसे ऑप्शनल प्रीलिम्स का ज्योग्राफी हुआ करता था. So the type of questions which were asked in prelims from human geography, that book is more aligned from that purpose. Okay, so not from the mains purpose. From mains purpose, this book is more aligned. Although you will see कि you will not need this book, but अगर बीच में क्लास में थोड़ा सा फील हो that I am not able to understand few things, I need, or many times student want to have a background before they'll feel कि समझ में आ रहा. So this book is not very bulky and you can written in very simple language and you can just go through it very fast. ठीक है. And the fourth book is Geography of India by again Majid Hussain. This book we will be using very extensively in the classes. Okay, so I will keep on giving some homework from this book, Geography of India by Majid Hussain. If you have Geography of India by D.R. Khuller, that will also do. ठीक है, because मैं chapters बताऊंगा particularly, कुछ informations बताऊंगा which you'll have to just extract from this book. You don't have to read the book end to end. In fact, मेरी classes में there is a ban on reading book of Indian geography end to end. मैंने बैन लगा रखा है. क्यों बैन लगा रखा है? बिकॉज जैसे ही आप बुक को पढ़ते हो आपकी थिंकिंग वहीं पे बंद हो जाती है. यू कैनॉट थिंक बियॉन्ड व्हाट इज रिटन इन द बुक. एंड व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ मोस्ट ऑफ द बुक्स ऑफ इंडियन ज्योग्राफी? दे आर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ रीजनल ज्योग्राफी बुक्स. दे आर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ कोरोग्राफी rather than chorology. We have to produce chorology in paper 2, not chorography. Most of these books, they are descriptive. पढ़ा है, NCERT पढ़ा है, they are descriptive. ठीक है, तो इसलिए हमें उसमें से बस वो फैक्ट्स ही चाहिए, तो उसके लिए पूरी बुक पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं. ठीक है, तो दिस इज द फोर्थ विच वी शुड हैव, एंड वी शुड हैव वन एटलस. So if you talk about the atlas, my personal preference is Orient, Black Swan, Others also you can have. One is Oxford. Both of them school atlases. They will be fine. ठीक है, दोनों ही खरीद लोगे तो उसमें भी कोई बुराई नहीं है. बिकॉज अगर ऑक्सफोर्ड की खास बात देखें तो ऑक्सफोर्ड में जो फिजिकल फीचर्स हैं दे आर बेटर मेंशन्ड. ओवरऑल हाउएवर ओरिएंट ब्लैक स्वॉन इज बेटर. ठीक है, जो थीमेटिक मैप्स हैं वो ओरिएंट ब्लैक स्वॉन में ज्यादा बेटर दिए और हम देखेंगे, हम थीमेटिक मैप बहुत यूज करेंगे. तो लाइक यू माइट हैव सीन द मैप ऑफ रेनफॉल, द मैप ऑफ टेम्परेचर, जियोलॉजी मैप, क्रॉप मैप्स, हजार्ड मैप्स. ठीक है, वी विल बी यूजिंग अ लॉट. सो दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग ओरिएंट ब्लैक स्वॉन. इनफैक्ट मैं क्लास में भी आई जस्ट यूज दिस Orient Black Swan itself because I have a software of it. So जो मैं क्लास में यूज करता हूँ it is the Orient Black Swan, and that is why I am saying if you have this book then you can also relate it with the mapping, which is जो mapping की classes हैं they will be also based upon this Orient Black Swan. Okay, so that is about the sources. Now if you have any queries, questions, कुछ पूछने हैं तो पूछ सकते हो. गूगल प्ले स्टोर पे आई थिंक नहीं मिलेगा बिकॉज ये मेरे पास कैसे आया. इन माई स्कूल डेज आई हैड बॉट द एटलस. तो एटलस के साथ एक सीडी आती थी. ठीक है, तो उस सीडी से मैंने कॉपी कर लिया था सॉफ्टवेयर, तो मेरे पास इसलिए वो तब से चलता आ रहा है. बट आई थिंक अभी पता नहीं सीडी देते हैं नहीं देते हैं. मे बी देर इज सम साइट से वो कर सकते हो या फिर मेरे से ले लेना. जब हम क्लास में पढ़ रहे हैं, ठीक है, जैसे हमने जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी पढ़ा तो उसमें बहुत सारे लैंडफॉर्म्स आए. ठीक है, इंपॉर्टेंट लैंडफॉर्म्स भी आए, नंबर ऑफ अदर स्मॉलर लैंडफॉर्म्स भी आएंगे. तो व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट, जैसे मैंने बात किया कि इंडिया में सपोज वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इंडिया, सो व्हेन इंडिया वाज पासिंग ओवर रीयूनियन हॉटस्पॉट देयर वाज द वॉल्केनिज्म विच अकर्ड. ठीक है, हॉटस्पॉट वॉल्केनिज्म. तो अब रीयूनियन हॉटस्पॉट मैं वहाँ पे बता दूंगा कि ये इंडियन ओशन में लोकेटेड है. घर जाकर के चेक कर सकते हैं ना एटलस में कि वेयर इज एक्चुअली द रीयूनियन हॉटस्पॉट. उसी तरह से करगुलियन हॉटस्पॉट चेक कर सकते हैं. हवाई की बात की होगी क्लास में. ठीक है, बहुत सारे माउंटेन्स की बात की होगी. ठीक है, तो अगेन दैट इज हाउ यू स्टार्ट विद. फिर क्लासेस जब स्टार्ट हो जाएंगी तो क्लासेस में तो मेनली इंडियन ज्योग्राफी की वो मैपिंग है बिकॉज दैट इज फॉर पेपर 2. यू नो नाउ द मैपिंग दे आर आस्किंग, नॉट इन पेपर 1. ठीक है, तो ज्योग्राफी इज लाइक मैपिंग से अलग कर ही नहीं सकते हो ना. इट गोज हैंड इन हैंड. एवरी डे व्हेन विल बी स्टडिंग विल टॉक अबाउट सम स्पेस, some place, and that is the best way to learn. हाँ बता दूंगा, लेकिन वो इस पे डिपेंड करता है कि तुम प्रैक्टिस कितनी करते हो. मैं बता दूंगा कि कैसे बनाना है. लाइक एक सिंपल सा फंडा क्लास में सिखाऊंगा भी कि सिंपल सा फंडा है कि जो मैप बनता है वो ऐसे ऐसे नहीं बनता, सीधी सीधी लाइन. ठीक है, अगर मुझे साउथ अमेरिका का मैप बनाना है तो मैं ऐसे बनाता हूँ 1 3 अदर 3 बन गया साउथ अमेरिका का मैप. ठीक है, देयर आर ट्रिक्स. इट इज नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट, जस्ट द थिंग इज यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस.
That's why I didn't join option.
I'll tell you my story of this time management. Like you, I was also afraid. The thing was, I thought I should join optional first and so I didn't join GS classes. My flat partner Himshikar, he advised me कि नहीं दोनों ज्वाइन कर, because he had joined both. तो मैंने, इट वॉज इन माई माइंड कि यार टाइम कैसे मैनेज होगा, क्लास में पढ़ाया जाएगा, फिर आई विल कम बैक होम एंड आई विल रीड एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. आई डेंट ज्वाइन. ही वॉन्ड मी कि if you don't join, you'll see that your preparation will not be good. The same thing happened. I was not prepared to give that attempt, and I am talking about 2006 attempt. Okay, I was not prepared to give that 2006 attempt. He gave the attempt. He qualified same year itself. Sometimes होता है ना, fortune favors the brave. He was the first IPS to get selected. Luckily that year, one seat of IS increased and he became IS. Right now he is posted in Chhattisgarh. He got Chhattisgarh cadre. Whatever, he is an IS officer. Okay. Now what actually happens? If I have, suppose, one work to be done and I have got 12 hours to complete it. I am serious. If I am serious, I will complete in 12 hours. If I have one work and if I have 20 hours to complete it, I will take entire 24 hours to complete that one task. Okay? So when you are joining both the classes, it will become little difficult. However, the thing is, it is more beneficial. How it is more beneficial, I will tell you. 3 hours you'll be going in GS class, 3 hours in optional class, 6 घंटे दिन के निकल गए. 2 hours और जोड़ लो करंट अफेयर्स की पढ़ाई के लिए, कितने घंटे गए? 8 घंटे. ठीक है, 8 hours. Now maximum that which I can do, it can be, I can, if I stretch, it can reach to 3-4 hours maximum. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं कर सकता हूँ दिन में. This is the limit. Okay. Now when I know that I have only 3-4 hours, I have two choice. Either I spend 3-4 hours in revision and practice, or like majority जनता, I spend this in enrichment. ठीक है. I think a logical person will always choose this. ठीक है. तो वो जो फालतू जिससे लोग डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो रहे हैं, वो टाइम ही नहीं बचेगा तुम्हारे पास. इट विल बी लाइक पॉजिटिव फॉर यू आर रीडिंग लेस, you are revising it. That means the chances of recall will also be high. This enrichment, believe me, this is a myth which has been created by UPSC coaching institutes. Person who has done this will get selected. ठीक है. Unfortunately, at that time I didn't understand this point. But now I have experience. I can tell you that this is actually what is required. ठीक है. तो ऐसे ही टाइम मैनेज होगा और कुछ करने के लिए फिर टाइम बचेगा नहीं. बस यही करना पड़ेगा कि 3-4 घंटे जो मिल रहे हैं उसमें जो क्लास में पढ़ाया गया उसको चुपचाप रिवाइज करो. रिवीजन का अपना स्केड्यूल बनाओ. फर्स्ट रिवीजन शुड बी डन विद इन 24 आवर्स. देन ट्राई टू डू इन 7 days. थर्ड रिवीजन शुड बी डन विद द टेस्ट. ठीक है. क्लास खत्म होते होते 3 रिवीजन हमारे कंप्लीट हो चुके हैं. और इसी तरह से टारगेट करके आगे बढ़ो. If you have done this, by the end of the class, you will see how much good position you are. ठीक है. और बहुत आइडियल नहीं सोचना. We don't have to think very ideal. No one is able to achieve that. ये जो सिलेक्ट होते हैं ना लोग, जब हमारे पास रिजल्ट से पहले जब वो आते हैं ना, तो you see them how, what is their condition. बाद में भले ही सिलेक्ट हो जाने के बाद you feel like you become a star and you can speak anything. ठीक है. But it is not the reality. The reality is something else. They were also like you, normal students. Just because they got results, their confidence level reaches to a next level. because they get the authority now to speak. They were also like you, they were also nervous like you. ठीक है, so that is simply which we have to do. इसी तरह से टाइम मैनेज करो. न्यूज़पेपर में बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम मेरे हिसाब से स्पेंड करने की जरूरत नहीं. दिस इज माई व्यू एंड आई विल टेल यू द लॉजिक बिहाइंड माई पॉइंट. एंड मेरा लॉजिक बहुत सिंपल है. दिस एग्जाम इज ऑल अबाउट मेमोराइजेशन. इफ यू मेमोराइज वेल then only you will be able to reproduce. Till last year prelims में रिवीजन मेमोराइजेशन करना होता था, लेकिन उस नेक्स्ट लेवल का नहीं करना होता था, मेंस लेवल का नहीं करना होता. ठीक है, बिकॉज आपके पास ऑप्शंस थे और उस ऑप्शंस में रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग भी लग जाती थी, तो कुछ कुछ आप सॉल्व करके निकाल लेते थे. अभी जैसा हो गया है, you can understand कि the way they had made 48 questions were there like that. So in that वो tricks भी नहीं चलेंगी. तो that means now your revision and memorization should be of the mains level. In mains it should be a next level, because वहां पर क्या हो रहा है, you have to reproduce the same stuff without looking. मैंने बोला ना कि अगर वो assumptions हैं, 6 assumptions हैं मॉन्थ्यूनन के, तो वो 6 के 6 एजम्पशन वहां पे रिप्रोड्यूस करना है बिना देखे. एंड इट इज चैलेंजिंग. पीपल हु आर डूइंग दैट आर द पीपल हु आर गेटिंग मार्क्स. ठीक है, सो द वन हु इज मेमोराइजिंग एंड रिवाइजिंग इज द वन हु इज एसेंशियली गेटिंग सिलेक्टेड. अ पर्सन जो इस बात को जो समझ ले रहा है, उस वो बहुत सही ट्रैक पे चल रहा है एंड दे विल गेट सिलेक्टेड. The problem is 99% of the students who are preparing, they are still not understanding. It is very simple, but they are still unable to grasp this basic fundamental idea.
अगर मैं जीएस की बात करूं तो आपका हर हफ्ते मुझे 5 क्वेश्चन मिलते हैं, बट होता क्या है कि क्वेश्चन देखता हूँ, हाँ मैं और इंटरेस्ट करता हूँ, पढ़ता हूँ, बट लिखने में मेरे को लगता है कि अभी इनफ नहीं है. जज कैसे करना है?
देखो, मैं एक बात बताता हूँ. जब मैंने अपनी क्लासेस ज्वाइन की थी अपने टाइम में, इट वाज 2003. सो आई मेट वन टीचर. उनकी वर्कशॉप मैंने ज्वाइन की. तो वो वर्कशॉप में उन्होंने कम से कम 20 बार से ज़्यादा बार बोला होगा, you have to write for UPSC world class answers. That word world class answers, they entered in my psyche so strongly कि मैंने अगले प्रिपरेशन तक, ठीक है, मैंने पहला बार अपना अटेम्प्ट दिया 2007 में. ओके, तो 2007 तक मैंने आंसर ही नहीं लिखे, because I had to write which type of answers? World class. ठीक है. When I went into the exam, a very good experience I got. And what was this experience? जिस दिन मैं पहला पेपर लिख रहा था, ठीक है, पहला पेपर उस टाइम पर एस्से का पेपर होता है. तो जो पहला पेपर लिख रहा था, आई फेल्ट कि बहुत अच्छा नहीं लिख पाया, बिकॉज थोड़ा स्लो था लिखने में और उस तरह से आइडियाज फ्लो नहीं कर रहे थे. ठीक है, तो दैट वाज माय एक्सपीरियंस विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दैट. देन अनदर एक्सपीरियंस वाज कि जब मैं अपना लास्ट पेपर लिख रहा था, बाय दैट टाइम माय राइटिंग स्किल्स हैड फंडामेंटली चेंज. ठीक है, तो उस टाइम पर मैंने एक एस्से का पेपर लिखा, 2 पेपर जीएस के होते थे और 2 लैंग्वेजेस के पेपर होते थे, तो 5 वो हो गए एंड 4 पेपर्स ऑफ द ऑप्शन, 9 पेपर्स. दैट मीन्स फर्स्ट पेपर में देयर वाज अ डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस आई हैड. 9th पेपर व्हेन आई वाज राइटिंग आई हैड अ डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस. कैन यू इमेजिन, केवल वो 9 पेपर लिखने के बाद, विदाउट एनी डिफरेंस इन द नॉलेज बेस, आई हैड 2 डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंसेस. ठीक है, so you have to understand writing is There is a science behind it, no doubt. There are some principles which you have to follow, but it is an art. And what is the very important characteristic of an art? The more you practice, the more you will become perfect. Okay? That is what you have to understand. Even today, in my 500 plus classes, I'm solving that question answer solve करता हूँ 500 वहाँ पर. तो उसमें बहुत सारे बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं जो रिपीट करते हैं क्लास. एंड मेनी टाइम्स दे विल कम एंड टेल मी कि पिछले साल से आपने वही सेम क्वेश्चन इस बार ज़्यादा बेटर कर, ज़्यादा सिंप्लीफाइड. ठीक है? वाई? बिकॉज प्रैक्टिस इंक्रीज्ड मोर. ठीक है? तो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि इवन इफ यू थिंक दैट यू वांट टू बिकम वेरी गुड, बट दैट रीचिंग टू दैट लेवल ऑफ वेरी गुड नहीं, वो जल्दी नहीं आएगा. यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस इट. एंड देयर आर टू थिंग्स ऑल्सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. एक होता है रिवीजन, ठीक है? दूसरा होता है एक्टिव रिकॉल. एंड फॉर डूइंग एक्टिव रिकॉल यू हैव टू एक्चुअली ट्रेन योर माइंड. And how you will train your mind? What is the best way? You write your answers without looking. Okay? So you have to train your mind every day for that active recall. If you don't train your mind, again it will be untrained in the examination hall. और ये एक दिन का प्रोसेस नहीं है. It is a long time process. It will take 3 months, 6 months, depending upon where you are now. Some people who have naturally some people are gifted with respect to answer writing, probably because they got schooling or college somewhere in some kind of universities where it is natural, like humanities से related DU में, या some people are naturally gifted, तो उनको कम ज़रूरत पड़ती है. लेकिन majority of the students which I see coming from engineering background, you people need, or coming from more humble background, you people need to practice a lot. And with practice you will be able to reach. हर आदमी का अपना स्टाइल होता है आंसर लिखने का. Now you are talking to me, you are essentially communicating. Answer writing is what? It is communication. Vinay, the timing of the class is morning, it is 8 a.m. and it is starting from 3rd of July. ओके. सो इसके लिए अलग से सेशन है ना, इसमें प्रांजल सर लेंगे अलग से. अभी प्रिपरेटरी क्लास में सेशन बना रखा हूँ. ठीक है? ओके, सो विल स्टॉप. गुड बाय, टेक केयर. किसने? अगर तुमने उसका इंटरव्यू